Today on the channel, we take a look at WWE Elite Decade of Domination Series 1. Welcome everyone, Kyle here back with another WWE Elite review. And today we've got WWE Mattel Elite Decade of Domination Series 1, Walmart exclusive, just hitting the stores right now, 1st of November 2020. An interesting set, an interesting build-up to this set, I guess we'd say. This should have been out, I think, originally Walmart pre-orders said the beginning of September. Then it got delayed. Then my online orders got canceled. Then it got delayed again, I think, if you did still have an order. Just a huge mess with this set. So like I said, I finally found these in store, which is nice. I always enjoy finding them at store. It feels funner and more fulfilling when you find them out on the hunt than you do pre-order. But I understand sometimes you got no choice but to pre-order. And as of late, I pre-ordered just in case I can't find them in stores. Something happens. I always live in fear of that Walmart exclusive flashback set that had Harley Race. I don't ever want to see something like that again. I was lucky I got it right away, but so many did not. You just never know what's going to happen. But these Decade of Domination Series 1 typically are being found at Walmart on a pallet display. There's a whole pallet. It's got that special purple 30th anniversary Undertaker with it. It also has Elite 77, 78, I think, depending on where you're at. I've seen both. In my area, it seems like Elite 77 is with these. Also, the new Survivor Series Elite set is with that. So make sure you're looking at your Walmart. Go up and down the action alley, as the Walmart lingo calls it. Head through there, look around. That pallet might be in weird spots, but it should be out there for the holiday season. I don't know how hard these will be to get. They seem very plentiful right now, especially if there's a restock. But if there's no restock of straight cases or another pallet, these could be fairly hard down the road. So if you're looking at getting these or you're on the fence, get them now, or you're probably going to have to pay later down the road. Just the way it works with Elites these days. But we're going to review each one of these, take a look at each one by one, talk about them, and then at the very end we'll put them in order of my favorite to least favorite of the set, and we'll see where we go. But this Decade of Domination, basically it's a neat set. It's a neat subset. This is Series 1, as we said. It's performers in the WWE that have been here the whole Mattel time. That whole 10-year time frame with Mattel, they've been a part of the roster. So these, the Undertaker, Randy Orton, John Cena, Natalia, Mark Henry, those fit that bill. We got another Series 2 of Decade of Domination, which I believe should have been out by now. Obviously, with this one getting delayed, that one's delayed. But I got a feeling we'll probably see those by the end of November, early December in our Walmart stores. I don't know if those will come as a pallet or not. If those will be straight cases, who knows at this point. But you'll get Kane, you'll get Beth Phoenix, and a few other ones in there. I believe that's going to be it. I think there's only 2 series for this. It would be cool if they could get a third one. I'm not sure exactly who they could put in a third series. R-Truth comes to mind. Maybe John Morrison. That doesn't really count because he took a break in the middle, but he was there at the beginning, was at the end. They could always throw a different incarnation of The Undertaker or John Cena in there, Randy Orton if they wanted to, but maybe it's just a 2-set-and-done deal. I think they're moving on to the Fan Central line that we just recently saw at Ringside Fest in-package images from, so I think that probably is the next set after these Decade of Domination figures. So a little housekeeping, a little discussion on what these are, where they're going, and stuff like that, but let's get down to the first one. I figured we'd start with John Cena. Love him or hate him, he's been there the whole time. He's taken the WWE on his back, but this could be the greatest John Cena figure of all time because he has got the number 33 jersey. And all of us sports fans know number 33 is the greatest number in the history of sports. Obviously, the greatest of all time, Jose Canseco. Don't argue with me. He's the greatest of all time, Jose Canseco. You got Scottie Pippen. You got Patrick Ewing. I mean, the list goes on and on. Young John Kyle Peterson wearing 33 back in the day. There's a lot of people. But one of the most famous of all times, and which one this represents, is, of course, Larry Bird. And who do I like to think of myself as? The Larry Bird of wrestling figure collectibles. Larry Bird was my favorite basketball player as a kid. Obviously, John Cena growing up in the Boston area. Obviously loved Larry Bird, like we all do. But so cool to get a Larry Bird jersey. My plan is maybe to get a soft goods jersey to put on him, make this a little bit more accurate. Understandably, they can't put a Celtics jersey on John Cena for copyright legal reasons. But really cool. I really like the Celtics jersey on here. for all things considered, as 33 is the greatest sports number of all time. But let's take a look at this Cena figure. There he is. He's got the Shaka Bra hands, the word life, old school Cena. It's cool to get a throwback Cena. It's been a while, it feels like. We've had all kinds of incarnations of Cenas over the years, obviously. Probably the most, maybe him or Ray. I'm trying to think who has the most elites of all time. John Cena is definitely up there. I got a shelf and a half of just Cena at this point. But you can see that new Decade of Domination packaging, a little bit different, but you still know it's Mattel Elite. That's what you want in production, in marketing of your figures. You want it to resonate as a new packaging, but have the familiarity of packaging everybody knows and loves and stuff like that. So kudos to the Mattel brand team putting that together for somebody that operates in that kind of world for different products. So there you go, a little history there. You got the glamour shot on the side, of course. You got the big glamour shot on the other side. The top, you got just a little bit of this. It's kind of cool. They got the little 10-year thing. It shows Cena throughout the years, and it's on all of them. So that's a little Easter egg that I think a lot of people miss. So a little picture there. Legal fun on the bottom. I won't show you the legal on the other ones. Nobody cares about that kind of stuff. But on the back, from West Newbury, Massachusetts, 251 pounds, height 6'1", career highlight, 16-time world champion, United States champion, WWE tag team champion. 10 years ago, WWE Mattel formed a powerhouse action figure tag team. Celebrate the Decade of Domination with action figures of WWE superstars who have been around since the beginning of this legendary partnership. So something tells me that's going to be on the back of every single box. A little disappointing. I would have loved a little blurb about Cena. Cena started with his first figure. It should have said Elite 1 was John Cena's first figure, and his last figure was Elite 58 or whatever it was. Give some history in there. That would be kind of cool. But we also get on the bottom of the box, you get the whole lineup who's in Series 1. We're going to talk about every single one of those. As you guys know, this first figure we review in the reviews always take a little bit longer. We talk a little detail, stuff like that. The other ones flow a little faster. But let's get down to business. Let's open it, this John Cena figure. Let's see what's going on in here. You got a little splash background in there. I don't know. See you later. Doesn't do anything for me. Here's old John. Not bad in the plastic prison. You know, some of these I've seen, I was looking at the palette and the different Cenas. Some of them had like a really dark face. Kind of like the ink got darkened the face and darkened the plastic up. I don't know if that was kind of an error, but this was the best one, the best looking one of the bunch. Now that I see this, there is a little smudge on his forearm there. I don't know if I can pick that up. So that's a little disappointing. You got, geez, 2 extra sets of hands, so you can do whatever you want with John Cena's hands in this one. He also comes with the brass knucks. Big mistake here. As you can see, it says Life Word. It should be the other way around, Word Life. If you're a mint on card, mint on box collector, that would annoy you looking at this. It says, oh, Life Word. It should be Word Life. That's just kind of China factory type stuff. You know, most of those people, almost 90% probably working in the factory, don't know English. Actually, who knows? They do. They always say, what, more people in China speak English than the rest of the world or something like that. But that's a simple mistake, which I guess I could see happening, but a little disappointing nonetheless. So there you have it there. Let's get these knucks out. They're in there pretty good. I have seen pictures of people that had these fall out in the box, which that's always disappointing, especially if you're an in-box guy. I wouldn't want one of those if the packaging doesn't look good, doesn't present well. You don't want any piece of that. I'll probably use these hands, these kind of, I always call them the Samoa Joe or Roman Reigns hands. They always put them with those two. I will probably use those and keep these on my John Cena. Get him out here. All right, nothing else. See you later. All right. So he's got his old school chain around his neck. You know, he hasn't worn that in some time. But your typical John Cena, kind of just made to current day standards, I guess. You got 33 jerseys we talked about, the Shaka Bra hands. He's got the sneakers, and the jorts, I guess they're called, you know, the jean shorts. He's got his chain, like we said. A solid figure. I don't mind this Cena at all. I have zero issues with this. I don't know. Now part of me says, hey, I should probably display him with the regular hands so I could put these brass knuckles on him. Oof. Decisions. It's not such a decision where I say, hey, I need another John Cena, but it's an interesting one. It looks like his thumb's a little bent. Interesting. But like I said, the only paint issues I see right up here, That kind of stuff happens, and we're seeing more and more pain issues with Mattel, which is a little concerning. Hopefully they get that figured out. I give them a pass. We've seen much worse. There's nothing worse than getting your face not lined up and stuff like that. But I do like this bucket hat on him. Very cool. You take it off, he's got kind of the old school Cena hair too. So it's a little different than the traditional flat top Cena. Even more of a reddish auburn brown hair color. And I don't think this cap, this fisherman's hat, I don't know if that's been in play before. I'm sure that was maybe on a figure somewhere along the lines. But I can't remember off the top of my head. So I don't know. But a very good figure as far as John Cena. I know a lot of us have a lot of John Cena figures. Do we need one more? That's what you got to ask yourself. But I like this one. This could be my favorite John Cena just for the Larry Bird jersey alone. Plus the bucket hat and everything else. So a very good figure. A very solid John Cena figure. Let's look at the next one. All right, next up in the Decade of Domination, we've got The Undertaker. And I don't know if there's anybody more fitting for this set, being around the WWE and being the, the big dog of the, no pun intended with Roman Reigns, the big dog the last 10 years, The Undertaker, really last 30 years. He's been a constant. He's always been around in one way or the other with the WWE, so he definitely fits in this line. And it's very interesting. They went back all the way back to his Survivor Series debut attire. So very interesting here. This is an attire we've gotten a few different times. We'll compare it to another one that looks just like this or very similar to this. But a cool figure nonetheless, and I'm sure a lot of collectors, Mattel's had a lot of collectors jump on board in the last couple of years, so there's a lot of people, this is probably a hole that was missing in their collection they'll be happy to have. So good for them. Here it is. There's the packaging, very similar to John Cena, obviously. On the top, you got the little decade of The Undertaker's career kind of thing there. True FX at the top. We didn't mention that before, but consistent with all the later day and recent releases. And there's Taker on the side looking like he doesn't know what the heck's going on. He looks amazed and bewildered by something. Probably looking at the gobbledygooker. Same show. There's Taker on the side looking mean. There he is again. There's that look saying, oh my gosh, the gobbledygooker, he's coming. I still remember the first time I saw The Undertaker. I was 10 years old. Survivor Series, got it on pay-per-view. Old school, having to go get the cable box from Mediacom Cable here in the Midwest. And I remember being shocked, like, why is Ted DiBiase bringing out this guy? This seems kind of weird. This is not what I was expecting. I was expecting like a Ric Flair type individual or somebody like that, somebody that would fit in with Ted DiBiase. You didn't really think of The Undertaker and Ted DiBiase together back in the day. From Death Valley, 305 pounds, 6'10". Career highlights, WWE Champion, World Heavyweight Champion, World Tag Team Champion. And then nothing else besides the same promo copy we read with John Cena. So there you have it there. Let's open him up. Let's see what's going on in this box. Same background as the Cena and all the others. See you later. Alright, got a little smudge on the face, so we've still got some pain issues going on. That's 2 for 2 on the pain issues. Not terrible, but not the best. I've got some extra hands. We'll knock those out. Maybe. I noticed the hands in these, that Cena's were really hard to get out, and these are a little hard to get out too. Which is a good thing, I guess. It's not so hard you can't get them out. It keeps them in place. These come a long way shipping from China or wherever. Looks like we got a little bit of stuff holding them in. Get those taken care of. Pop out Taker, maybe. There it is. See you later. And there you have it. So he's got the little rubber band around his waist that kind of holds in the tie together. I usually leave those in a lot of times. I'm not playing. I'm not doing a lot of photography with my figures, so I don't really need to remove that. I do like he has the mystical hands. It's something different we haven't had in Taker before. He's got the soft goods robe, which is cool. The soft goods tie. Supposedly this one is more accurate to his debut appearance with the gray and all that kind of stuff. An interesting figure. Hat's removable, of course. Got the old school Taker look. Definitely not terrible. I could see a lot of people wanting to be all over this one. People love The Undertaker. He's a favorite of many people, and many people, like I said earlier, probably missed out on this one. Here's another incarnation of that figure. This one has the gray gloves. Not a lot of skin on the bone differences. Guy like me that's a completist that has everyone, I got to get this. But if you have this older Undertaker, do you need this one? I don't know. Maybe you buy this one and you sell this one and retire it because it's not as accurate as this one. you guys tell me. Everybody's got their own rules in their collection, that's for sure. But here's that other Undertaker. Just a few differences. The gloves are gray where they're black on the new one. He's got the gray stripe on the hat on the new one and a black stripe on the old one. A lot of the stuff, the hair is identical. Pretty much everything. There's a lot of reuse with this figure. You can kind of see them both side by side here a little bit. A lot of reuse from this older figure, and that's okay. Why wouldn't you? Why reinvent the wheel? That adds cost, and I always talk about it. If you add cost, that gives us less figures as a whole. It snowballs from there. So you got to get as much reuse as possible. The smart thing to do, and the key is do the reuse, but don't let people know you're doing reuse. That's the magic and the smoke and mirrors of it all, if you can. And there's some people that'll, not fall for that, but understand that and notice that. And hey, this is really good reuse. This is really smart. So you got to get creative there. So there you have it. The Decade of Domination Undertaker. A solid piece that I think a lot of people will want, because there's probably a few that missed this one back in the day and they'll want this one. So there you have it. Let's take a look at the next one. All right, next up in our video is personally the one I'm the most excited for in the set, and that's the Nation of Domination Mark Henry. A lot of these other ones, we've had Cena's, we've had Takers. For the most part, this is a very good set, but this is the one I'm most excited about, as we needed Nation Mark Henry. We got Farouk, we got Rock, we got D'Lo. Now we just need Kama, and we can recreate our whole Nation of Domination shelf. I cannot wait for that day. Now if we could just get an Ahmed Johnson to go with them, maybe even an old school Crush and Clarence Mason. Boy, we'd be living the dream, wouldn't we, if we get there? But maybe someday. But this Mark Henry, like I said, we're excited to get this one. So there he is, got his Nation hat on. Mark Henry's got to come with a weight. He's been coming with weights for years. They got to get the most out of that accessory, and it's a little stereotypical of Mark. Let's just give him a weight. He loved to lift weights. He was the world's strongest man. We'll just put weights with him every time. But I guess it makes more sense than, putting a turkey leg with him, or what else do they use? Sometimes a steel chair, of course, is an old favorite. Or if you're Jax, you throw in that trusty old ring bell. There's many ways you could go, but I don't hate that. And we haven't seen this weight in a while. I'm trying to think the last time we saw this weight was probably Mark Henry Toys R Us Fan Central line. That's my guess. So here you go. Decade of Domination from Silsbee, Texas. Weight 360 pounds, 6'4", World Heavyweight Champion, ECW Champion, and European Champion. Here's Mark. Little glamour shot on the side. Old school Mark Henry. And once again, old school Mark Henry. I'm glad they did this. I'm glad they went old school Mark Henry figure. This is one that a lot of us have wanted. So this is a perfect one for our collection. Let's open him up. See you later. Here he is, deep in the plastic. I almost feel like there's more weights on this one than normal. Maybe not. It's probably the same one. I don't know why they would change anything. Bust him out here. Comes with extra sets of hands, of course. You got to have those these days. See you later. I like that he comes holding the barbell. Just your typical plastic barbell. It does kind of roll off the thing. Definitely no room. I never display him with this. Unless they came out with the World's Strongest Man, like the first edition Mark Henry, which maybe we would see someday. I wouldn't be opposed to it. Where he had the red, white, and blue singlet type thing. It'd be cool to have him display lifting this weight, but not the Nation Mark Henry. I wouldn't do that to that one. Whoa, losing the hat here. Hopefully this hat stays on okay. A little loose in the head, I've noticed right off the bat. But besides that, it's your typical kind of Mark Henry body mold. Works perfect. I absolutely love this mold. I'm glad they didn't give him the super, like Jax would do. They'd give him the Yokozuna body mold, the way too big. Mattel's got this down. It's just kind of like the Bam Bam Bigelow size. Not super, super heavyweight, but heavyweight figure. I like that a lot. You definitely got to switch the hands out to the fist. You got to display him doing the Nation fist thing in the air. But a very solid figure that fits right in with the D'Lo and the Farouk. We just need that Kama. When are we going to get that Kama? I hope that happens. That's probably on my top of my want list with Mattel right now, which is very strange. I think it would make a great Walmart or Target exclusive figure, I think for sure. Or maybe you can put it in some kind of even the Decade of Domination line. I mean, the Godfather's been around. He makes appearance. He's had a bunch of different characters. I don't know. There's got to be a way to get him in there, and I'm sure they'll figure it out. But really like this Nation Mark Henry. Like I said, this is probably the one I was looking forward to the most, and it lives up to the potential for me. So I'm all in on this Mark Henry. happy to have it in my collection. So let's move on to the next one in the set. All right, next up in the Decade of Domination, we got the female representative of the set, I guess you would say. Beth Phoenix will be in Series 2, but Series 1 we get Natalia, the workhorse of the women's division. And she's one of those wrestlers that's been around forever. Seems like she's just been around forever. And one day she's going to be gone, and you're going to say, wow, I really miss her. She was good. You know, I think it's one of those things where she doesn't get the credit she deserves in the modern day, but will be fondly remembered after she's gone. That's just me. That's my thoughts there on Natalia. And it's cool we got a female representation in this figure, and it's cool we got Natalia because she totally fits. And I love this throwback young Natalia. You know, you almost forget about this. You're so used to her in her pink and black attire, but when I saw this figure, I said, oh yeah, I remember her with Davey Smith Jr. and T.J. Wilson back in the day, Tyson Kidd. You start to remember these things. So there she is. We haven't had that Divas title in a long time, so that's another reason to buy this. For you collectors that missed out on that, you got the Divas title. Extra set of hands, of course, and then you got that little mini table to hold the belt on. A very interesting one. We've seen that a few times over the years. Kind of a waste of an accessory for me. I don't need 10 of those, but that seems to be what I have about this time. So there she is there. Great younger shot there. Looking really attractive back in the day. She's still attractive now, but just you forget she looked like this at one time. It just seems like so long ago. There's the picture on the other side. You know, and they got the hair pretty good. I was going to say it's almost a reddish orange there. We're so used to the blonde now, and they got it on the figure, I think, fairly well. From Calgary, Alberta, Canada, sharpshooter, finishing move, 5'5", SmackDown Women's Champion and Divas Champion. Can't remember if I showed the back, but there's the back. So I like this one. Off the bat, we'll see how it comes out of the package. See you later. Very good figure. I like the smiling face. This is a slam dunk. This could be the sleeper of the line. I was excited for this figure, but it looks very good. So here's that little table that holds the belt. Oh, lost the belt there. Get that out. Get the two hands. See you later. It feels to me like this strap is a lot shorter than it used to be. I remember it being a little bit longer. That could just be a bad memory on my part. I guess the strap doesn't need to be as big as the male straps because for most part, all the females have a similar body mold, smaller. You can see right there, you put that right on display, like so. Extra hands, we don't need to talk about that. It's your typical female body. Not a ton to say about that. We've seen it a ton of times over the years. I don't see any pain issues, which is great to see, knowing how we've seen a few of the last ones. But just her face looks great. This looks like Natalia. There's no denying that. I love the throwback outfit. A strong, strong figure. And it's one of these figures we didn't know we wanted until you got it in your hand. And you say, you know what, that's a good one. I'm glad they came out with this Natalia figure. So there you go. She's got two fists on. I'll probably leave her with the fists. And then you got the belt. So I'll display her with the belt. This table will go into my box of accessories, never to be seen again. And I'm sure you guys do a lot of the same. So there it is. There's Natalia. Not much more to say about her. Let's finish the set up with Randy Orton. All right, we finish up the Decade of Domination with another one. Another stalwart of the division of the WWE, the whole federation, you would say. And very similar to Natalia, maybe not to the same extent, is Randy Orton. Randy Orton's one I've taken for granted for many a years. He is kind of getting to the end of his career, you would assume. He is the champion right now, but he's been around a long time. I don't know how much time we got left with Randy Orton. I guess that'll be to be seen still. But one that for a lot of years, I liked him a lot when he came up. And then there was the time where he just feuded with Edge and John Cena forever, it felt like. That was probably where the biggest wane in my wrestling fandom was during that time frame. It just seemed like the same stuff over and over and over. I was also, graduating college, going through all that stuff. So I was a busy, busy man. Not that I'm not busy now. I'm busier than I've ever been in my life. It's ridiculous how busy things are. But Randy Orton's one guy I've taken for granted over the years. And I'm very happy we got this one because I love the young Randy Orton figure. We've got a ton of the modern day and a few years ago figures, but we haven't had this representation of the old school shaggy haired. I love that they put the arm brace in here. I'll definitely be displaying that. So that's a nice touch. So this is a slam dunk figure. This is a must-own Randy Orton, if you ask me. Let's take a look at it here. There he is. You can see the packaging. You got the sling. You got the extra head, so you can choose young Orton or when he got a haircut. Definitely got to go Shaggy. I don't know why you wouldn't go Shaggy Orton. Extra set of hands, of course. So there's the packaging. There he is, young Orton on the side. It's amazing, you know, how time flies. I remember him looking like that. There you go. I believe Randy Orton and I are the same age, so take that for what you will. From St. Louis, Missouri, weight 250 pounds, 6'5", career highlight, 13-time, now 14-time WWE World Champion, Intercontinental Champion, and United States Champion. So once again, another solid one. This is a very solid lineup. It's one of those lineups where you think, it is what it is, but once you get it and you kind of see it in hand, see you later, you really respect this lineup a little bit more. No, I thought there was a face issue, but there is not. Here he is in the old plastic. Let's see. Let's bust him out of here. We'll get him out. 2 extra hands. Don't need to cover those. We never do. Pop him out. See you later. All right. I love young Randy Orton before he was totally tattooed out. You got the young head, the young up-and-comer. Little loose in the ab crunch. A little looser than I would prefer, that is for sure. I'll put this on later. Yeah, definitely younger shaggy hair is the way to go. And unfortunately, the older one, I got some paint issues on the side. There's some paint rub. There's a little bit on his nose. So I would not want to use this one anyways, unfortunately. But good thing I was using this one, and this one looks straight up. Only problem I got with this one is the loose ab crunch. That's a little disappointing and annoying. There he is right there. I love the old school tattoo work before he had his full sleeves. I think that's a really cool thing. Got Orton on the back of the tights. Like I said, I will display him with the singlet on. You got to. I think that's the way to do it. Let me grab a stand here. We'll stand him up. You know, I've noticed I always usually stand on the left foot. They haven't been fitting very often in the last few sets on the ringside stand, so I've had to go right foot, which is interesting. And boy, even that stand's not fitting. I'm looking if there's some kind of issue with the peg holes. I don't know if I've ever had figures that wouldn't stand in a ringside stand. Oh, there we go. Had to force it in there a little bit. Yeah, that ab crunch is annoying. Gosh. I mean, I'm lucky I don't play with my figures and sit down, or do I? No one will know what happens when the lights are off. But that would really frustrate me if I was trying to play with these with him crunching back and forth all the time. I thought I'd bring out, for comparison's sake, the Randy Orton. I believe this might even have been the first or second, probably first, Randy Orton figure. As you guys know, with Jakks, they redid these figures a million times in different colors and stuff. But this was the original Jakks Ruthless Aggression Randy Orton. I still say this figure stands up for what it is. I love this figure. It's probably my favorite Randy Orton Jakks figure. The funny thing is, they later made an updated face, and it's my least favorite of all head scans for Jakks. I like this one with the shaggy hair. Definitely, you can see Mattel, we've come a long ways, but I still got sentimental value to this one. It's just a time and space, I guess you'd call it. But a very similar type figure. So there you go. So there it is. There is the Randy Orton and the Jakks Randy Orton Ruthless Aggression, of course. Another solid figure. This is another great set. A couple paint issues. We're seeing that all the time with Mattel. I got to do a better job when I'm looking at my figures at the store to make sure I'm picking the best one. I always get in such a rush, so I miss out. But there you have it. Let's load them all up. Let's put them in order of the way I like them, from best to worst. There you go. Let's do it. All right, everybody, let's finish up the video. And I put them in order of my favorite to least favorite. And starting off, my favorite, like I said, was Mark Henry. It was a missing hole in our collections, finally answered. So I'm very happy to get this Mark Henry. So he is number one, a great figure. One complaint I have, though, is his fist. They gave him baby fists. Those are the smallest hands ever. They look very strange on him. I got to see if I can find a skin tone match, bigger fist, because they use like Drake Maverick, almost female hand size on him. And I think that's a huge miss there. But you take that out. Mark Henry's definitely my favorite of there. Number two, a sleeper, John Cena. I prefer this era of John Cena. That Boston Celtics jersey takes it to another level. Going with Cena as my second favorite. And then another one, kind of a shocker there. is Natalia, being my third favorite in this set. I didn't know I wanted this figure until I saw it in hand and saw it. So I really like this one. It represents early Natalia, as you guys know. A very solid piece, and I think strongly recommend this, especially if you have a Divas line collection or a women's wrestling collection as well with the new Divas title. Undertaker down at the bottom. I figured him and Natalia would be somewhere in there. Not a ton of meat on the bones for me of differentiation from the other ones we've had. Still a cool figure. I think a lot of people will put this one at the top of their list because they probably don't have this incarnation of the Undertaker. So that's very cool. I know there's a lot of people out there that love the Undertaker like I love the Ultimate Warrior. So I get it. A lot of people say more Taker, the better. So Undertaker there. And then bringing up the rear is an unfortunate one. I thought this one would be really higher on my list. Some of the quality issues didn't really help things. The scuffed up head, the loose torso. But all these considered in front of me, the Orton one kind of falls a little flat. I don't know if it's just kind of the plain Jane version of it. That is what it is, though. You really couldn't spice him up. It's not like you could do a ton more to this figure. I do like the sling. We haven't seen that sling in a long time. I think it was in a battle pack with maybe the Ascension. We also saw it, I think, with CM Punk ringside exclusive figure back in the day. But it's a good accessory for, figure photographers to use with other figures and stuff. So there's some added value there. But as a whole, I like this set a lot more than I thought. I kind of brushed this one off as it is what it is. It's nothing really special. But once I got them in hand, much better view on my part of this set. I don't know what a must-have is to you, but this is definitely a must-have set for me, being a completionist. But I think it's incarnations of every character. These are some heavy hitters in the WWE the last 10 years. So I think a lot of people will want these figures, and I would recommend all these to everybody out there. So there you have it. Decade of Domination Series 1. You guys tell me, are you picking this up? Are you passing on it? Are you picking and choosing? Tell me your order of favorites in this one. I'd love to hear from you guys, so let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like the video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn your notifications on, just like you want to for everybody else. Do it for me too. So there you go. So for the Nation of Domination, John Cena, Undertaker, Natalia, and of course, Randall Orton, I'm Kyle. I'll see you guys all real soon.